Hey, everybody. Yes, we are live. Welcome to the show. This is TPIM Live. I'm your host, True Power is Mine. Tonight, we got a great guest, folks. DRS1 is in the house. But before we start, please, I want to ask you guys, help fund the effort. Please go to Cash App, type in capital D, lowercase r, capital S, lowercase HORT. Well, it's capital Doctor, capital Randy, capital Short at cashapp.com. Please help fund the effort. The good doctor goes all over the country. He talks on our benefit. He talks on our behalf. He loves our people. So we should show him love too. All right. And I had to get that out before we started.
We love their donations.
Yes.
And all I can say is, again, brother, people have no idea. Some folks blessed me, and I was able to spend literally a week, more than what I had planned, in Kentucky to help take care of an activist reader who had a major health issue with diabetes, cellulitis, detached retina, all of that, and was able to go and just be the person because there was no health care. This is a sister that's an activist, fighter, writer, doing all the right things, and there was nobody there for them. And thank you, brother, for people being there for me. Someone sent me something before I left for Kentucky. I was able, basically, if need be, buy food or do whatever and take care. In fact, let me just tell people something that's happening. I'm working with a co-op. The co-op is led by the sister I was staying with, Dr. Nancy Dawson. She's out of Russellville, Kentucky. She's from Kansas City, Kansas. And I can't get into all the details of it, but we already have a co-op of Black farmers across the South. We'll be looking to do a lot more stuff about bringing either the know-how or the actual food itself into Black communities that we target, but we'll sell to anybody. There's going to be a mini conference in the fall. I'll be back in Kentucky in August, maybe for 3 weeks. And we'll be planning this, organizing how we can kickstart this. And eventually, we want to see a movement across the country among urban farmers, urban gardeners, producers, whatever, how we can create opportunities, not only for us to eat, but to earn money. And that's kind of exciting.
Yes.
And brother, thank you. The people that have done, they've helped. The people don't believe it. They have no idea. There's an article I should send you from ProPublica about a Black female journalist in Memphis who's been just telling the truth about police brutality and standing up, and she found out she's being spied on and harassed by law enforcement. Right?
Right.
What it means, and it's other people. Folks who speak up in our community are targeted. They're targeted. One of the main ways that they attack people is they attack your money.
Yes.
So you can put a post up on Facebook. You can say something that's 100% true. Put up and be fired, be blackballed, and entire. This is what used to happen in the 60s. The reason a lot of folks didn't want the civil rights workers coming to their town or their community, because if someone was seen with one of these civil rights activists, they would be fired from their jobs. There was a thing called the Sovereignty Commission of Mississippi, and they attacked people. If the claim didn't get you, the Sovereignty Commission got you. You got fired from your jobs. You couldn't find anywhere to live. You couldn't rent. They attack your economic rights. Everybody's got to eat.
Yes. Yes, we do.
So when and see, they're people. They're sharking these other people that need $25,000 a speech. You got to pay them like whatever huge amount of money to get their entourage. And they're not working for us, but they're getting those resources. Sort of why we're in the situation that we're in is because Every people need an army and an intelligence service and need people that are fighting, lobbying for them. Black people lack this. Okay. And it's there are many reasons why we lack it. We're under attack on all sorts of levels, but I'll tell you something. We all need food.
Yeah.
We all need shelter and people that are pushing for how we create an economy amongst ourselves. I know there are other people doing it, co-ops. This is what people need to do. That's, I was doing politics to the degree that worked. Although I don't think politics is the final solution. I think you know that about me. The final solution is what we do for ourselves.
Yes.
How we help one another, how we support one another. So I spent, a month in Kentucky meeting with, I think I sent you pictures of the raccoons, but I didn't show you pictures of the farm.
Yes.
And producers, people who can produce hemp to make clothing, where we can make our own clothes, we can make our own whatever.
Yes.
A lot of folks keep saying we need to become producers. Well, and not just consumers. So if you want to know what it is, what my project is now, it's connected to my fellowship, which is an LLC, but I guess in the next couple of weeks, I got to get my 501c put together, but it's called Salvation and Liberation Temple, Inc. We will have a larger not-for-profit, which we'll put together very, very soon. And we'll continue. I'm very thankful. I have a couple of people that work with me, wonderful people. Doesn't take many,
Nope.
but it's about 7, 8 people that work with. And so, and when you see me or any of us do anything, someone had to provide resources. When you see all these people marching in the streets with all the signs and all that, that wasn't cheap. It wasn't free. Someone like George Soros and others paid for this opposition that they control.
Right.
And so if you want opposition, injustice that's for you, that doesn't buy, that refuses to be for sale, that's willing to not be a fat baller, provided they do what their conscience leads them. And we've had leadership like this in the community. We've had Senator Panthers and others, but they always need one thing. See it as a war. If you know anything about a war, you got to have a supply line. How do you feed a soldier who's doing? See, in a war, a soldier, not in a factory. They're not in the field. They're not in the shop. Their work fighting against another force, which is not necessarily something that produces products, but it does defend the people that do produce the products and consume them. Right. So asking for you to do it isn't a crime. I really love people like Professor Black Truth and Black Authority. Certain people don't have to ask. They're not as fragile. And by the way, one way, people don't know who they are to attack them economically. You see, there are folks like your wonderful friend, Mark from Anaheim. If people hide their identity, which they have a right to do and it makes sense, on one hand, that's wise. On another hand, it says that you don't want to face attack for your beliefs or for what you say. It's, in a sense, it's defensive. I'm not going to call it cowardly because folks who are exposed are under attack. But at the same time, if nobody knows who anybody is that's saying or doing things, unfortunately, it's not credible. I hate to say it like that. If Clark Kent never takes off his glasses and is Superman, then nothing happens.
Correct.
Not to compare me to Superman. So I might, and other people who are known, face a different type of attack because people know who you are. Well, I could hide. I could stop being seen. And I would say to you, initially, when I did things, I always preferred to be hidden. But it came a time where I couldn't hide.
Yes.
I could not be seen. You associate a person with the words being said instead of it being said from an anonymous place. I'm not knocking them because I love the work that different people are doing. But the problem is, it's a sad day in this country that everyone has to hide and they can't be seen because their targets, what it really means is that we as a group of people are chumps, punks, and bitches. We don't defend people who speak up and say what we want said, meaning that people who fight for us basically are at risk at all times because the very people they're trying to help won't back them.
Right.
This is noted by everyone who hates and bothers us. Now, that's my commercial. So that's why you give to people who are visible. It's because it costs them. When I was in Kentucky, there were people spying on me. People I don't know. By the way, Black woman working for the government.
Taking down notes.
And yes, trying to get information, following around. And so I don't know. I mean, trust me, look at Umar Johnson. Look at these people who are so much better known. And you wonder, what's going on? Why is someone bothering me in the middle of nowhere? And the people are all on radio all over the world, and no one's stopping them. Maybe, folks, they're not working for you.
Right.
I'm not controlled opposition. When I give a point of view, it is what I believe I know to be true. It's what I research. Okay, I'm talking to you with the Blexit t-shirt on, but do I agree with everything that Candace Owens says it does? No.
A lot of people have
that's all I want people to say. So when people wonder why you ask, if I were to tell them I went to Brazil many, many years ago and the government trailed me somewhere, I didn't even, why would the government be concerned about me, right? I am nobody. Had the people so afraid, folks stopped associating with me because they want to know who are you, that they would come and bother us. And I'm thinking, I didn't do anything, right?
Right.
We need to understand that all of us are being watched. And the people that speak up, going back to that sovereignty committee in Mississippi, anybody that spoke up or got involved or tried to do anything, you could do the smallest of things, would be retaliated against economically, socially, and you don't know. So people say, oh, well, you should just go and get a job. Well, okay, try. I have friends in the Panthers, and they'll tell you, try to get a job at McDonald's. And you couldn't get the dirtiest of jobs. So that means, imagine, I'm thinking about a Black actor by the name of Cannabis Lee, who got in trouble with the FBI, Secret Service, and others talking about apartheid in South Africa in the 1950s. And they destroyed him. The last job he had was shining shoes. He went from being the top Black male star in America to a broke person that couldn't even get people's shoes to shine.
Oh, man.
They attacked, yeah, we're going to get your money. We'll break you. You won't have anything. You won't be able to be a husband or a father or do this. This is what the Sovereignty Commission did to sharecroppers. If you even say, if we see you speaking to someone that says vote, we'll starve your whole family to teach you don't stand up to us. Because at the core of our oppression is the economic system. The reason that you have all these cool preachers as our leadership is because preachers are the one group of people whose paycheck, until recent times, on a good amount of times came from the people themselves,
right,
and not from the man. Which meant that's why these preachers got this, because other people, if you dare do anything, you could not eat or feed your family. If we look at Malcolm X's family, what drove his mother crazy, as brilliant as she was, a writer, a well-educated woman, right?
Right.
Because they stood up, you kill her husband, and you make it impossible for her to have any kind of money to teach her a lesson.
So she ends up in the mental house. And imagine how she feels. I'm brilliant. I did this. My husband's brilliant. My kids are good. But there's no resource. Black folks run from you. That's where we really have to go. Black people running from the brave people in our community, turning their back on the folks who speak up. Okay, this has emboldened our oppression and our oppressors, and it prolongs the difficult circumstance that we're in. The Black folks who won't speak up, who won't take a risk, who won't take a chance.
Right.
And they know well who folks are. They know right from wrong. They know the system. I mean, best proof of that, go to any HBCU or meet some of these educated Black folks. They know better. Take this hypocrite named Bob Johnson. He's talking about reparations for Black people, $14 trillion. Whereas I agree with him, $14 trillion. But I want to ask Mr. Bob Johnson, you should have been paying the reparations years ago when you had BET and you poisoned the minds of generations of Black people, the garbage you had on. You defrauded people who worked for you. Def Comedy Jam and all that, right?
Right.
You need to pay some reparations too.
He ain't trying to hear that, doctor.
Well, no, we need to talk about that. Hey, selfish. Yeah, I just did something and my crazy cat is outside. So, let's just think about it. Black Lives Matter and all this stuff that's going on. Oh, it's been a glorious scam. And I don't know if you've seen the little video of George banging a little young girl. I hope she was of age. You haven't seen the dude was a porn star. I didn't know that. I'm not surprised.
I did not know George was a porn star.
Oh my God! The video was sent to me. It's all over. A big scam is being perpetrated on our people. Now, let me be very clear. They had no right to kill him in any fashion. Had they beaten him and he survived like Rodney King, it would have been wrong. He committed no crime. He did nothing wrong. He's a victim of multiple crimes. Okay? If he had fentanyl and crystal meth in his system, if anything, there should have been more programs for him to be rehabilitated than for people to look to mass incarcerate dudes.
Correct.
Now, having said that, and me, wow, I just saw something I did. Man, I need to get my brain together. I just want to talk to folks about what's happening in the country. Now, you and I have had these discussions, and I'm going to have them with your audience because people need to know a few things.
Yep.
The first thing that they need to know is that, my cat's rude. You heard them. They're very disrespectful when I'm doing something. If you've noticed, a lot of people have shut down. The animals have been jumping in front of the camera and such.
Yes.
Simply, and they see you working, they don't care. So let's just go all the way back. George Floyd, 46, funeral was today, it's buried today next to his mom, was a Black man who was, I guess, trying to get his life together, at least as best he could, given how much of his life he had messed up. We can't fault him for that. But we need to talk about something. One, this is all a scam. This was engineered and orchestrated because they've been killing Black folks for years under far less compromised circumstances. Whether it is Tamir Rice, who's just a child, never got the attention that this man did. Sandra Bland didn't. Miss Breonna Taylor hasn't gotten the love that Mr. Floyd has got. We're talking about people without criminal records, no drug use, right?
Right. Good.
Nothing that people could point to that could be used to undermine an effort to bring attention to the suffering of Black people in America. I think we can agree to that.
Yes.
There have been other people, grandmothers, all kinds of people shot, killed, beaten, and have never been given this degree of attention. There have been far more aggressive. There was a Black man who was tased to death through his penis in Savannah, Georgia in 2015. The story never made the news. That's excruciating. Can you imagine a person just being electrocuted through the penis?
Oh, my God.
With people laughing? And there's video of it somewhere. Right? Couldn't that be something that could be... So the I can't breathe, this whole thing has a problem. The other thing I've noticed is that no one's talking about reparations, land. No one's talking about money. They're talking about stuff that's not cash.
Correct.
The only thing that racists understand are cash and violence. Since you're nonviolent and you're not asking for cash, you're not speaking the same language.
Right. Right.
No one's calling for cash for jobs. Let's give money to the Black businesses that got ripped off by this recent bailout.
Right.
Let's do that.
Or help Black farmers who get messed over by the Farm Bureau. They don't get the grants and stuff.
Yeah, by the Department of Agriculture. On and on and on. We can do this. No one's talking about the root issues that face Black people. Police brutality is everybody's problem.
Right.
The cops mess over everybody. The cops, we may get disproportionately targeted. This is true. But we're not the only people. But we're the only people do reparations the way that we want them. And so I don't hear people saying that. There's so much stuff on Mr. Floyd, like Mr. Floyd's girlfriend, a white woman by the name of Courtney, who is alleged beat on a regular basis to the point where Mr. Chauvin, his associate from work and from the Cup Food, wanted this woman. At the same time, he is married to the brutal Asian cop who's known for his brutality and cruelty. Are you understanding me? So Chauvin is married to his killer buddy's sister while wanting to hook up with George Floyd's woman. This is all being hidden from us. Also, what's being hidden is that George Floyd, sit down and think about it. Ask yourself, have you been to some of these little Asian stores, Middle Eastern stores?
No.
And George went to eat with several people. And they say George paid them a bad $20 bill. How much food can you get for $20 from one of these expensive ghetto Asian stores? How much food you gonna get for $20?
You're not gonna get much at all.
Exactly. So the $20, if you gave a bad $20 bill, right?
Right.
First and foremost, you wouldn't have been able to get much food in the first place. Secondly, why would you give someone food when they gave you a bad $20 bill? Should have been, well, you have to give us something else. I've been in the store. I remember being in a McDonald's. Well, about 15 years ago. And a Black man had a $20 bill. It was about 10 inches long. I mean, it's like one of those old pistols, from Gunsmoke. The pistol, the $20 bill was so long. I was like, dude, I know that there's a drug and alcohol problem because of the size of the 20. I mean, you got to get back all the other things, but at least shouldn't it have been in proportionate size to other currency if you're going to try to run a scam versus having an obvious fake $20 bill? The people next up did not give this man food, but insisted that he be paid with real money or leave. The man wasn't killed. The man left. No store, which is why these Arab Asian stores are notorious for having the little black pins to mark the dollars to see if they're real or not.
Right.
So you mean a store in that neighborhood didn't have this kind of detector pins? I don't believe that.
They had them.
And let me tell you the real story. Floyd George did not use a $20 bill. Floyd George used a $50 bill and was given a bad $20 bill from the Muslim Palestinian gangsters who ran the Cup Foods. Okay. Now, think about it. Because George is a criminal and didn't want to go to jail and loved his little daughter and all this other kind of stuff. Had he been caught with a $20 bill, why would he wait for the police to come?
Yeah. Why wouldn't he just walk away?
He stayed because he was the one that had been given the wrong money. And he thought he'd be treated fairly. He was not. He was murdered. Now, why would the $20 bill cause these people to want a death hit put on Mr. George Floyd? I'm glad you asked. Mr. Mahmoud Abu Malayev is a Palestinian gangster connected to the Bloods. They have a long history of being involved in drugs and other things. This is just a fact, my friend. They launder money. Cup Foods isn't just a restaurant. In its basement, it's a masjid, which means they have 501c3 tax-exempt status. Are you feeling me?
Oh, wow.
And if they launder money, which they do, isn't it likely the same people that launder money would be people who had fake counterfeit currency?
Correct.
Exactly. They're Palestinian. They travel back and forth to the Middle East. Anyone can do a Google search and find out that the counterfeiting of American money in the Middle East and Islamic countries like Palestine, Pakistan is exceedingly common. Okay.
Right.
Fact. So perhaps these people were dumping fake 20s into the hood, right?
Right.
And when they got caught, Mr. Chauvin and the other officers worked hand in hand with Mr. Abu Malayev to make certain that the Bloods and the other people they're associated with dominated the criminal activities there. And all of those cops, the reason that they don't want to prosecute them is because it will expose corruption that goes all the way to the top of the Democratic Party system in Minnesota, because Mr. Abu Malayev's family owns as little as $250 million in Minnesota real estate. And they give money to political causes like Ilhan Omar and Mr. Keith Ellison. You wonder why he wants to handle the case so badly. And he's a Muslim. Are you following me, brother?
Yes. It's, I was thinking about when the brother goes down there to cash a check, how many fake 20s and hundreds rolls out the store with them.
Lots of them. And these people, these Muslims, Asian folks, do all kinds of crooked things. Aside from the bad food, the untaxed cigarettes, the alcohol and other things sold to minors. Those people claim to sell cell phones out of Cup Foods. Are they good cell phones or are they stolen ones? If you go and Google, Mr. Abu Malayev has said they regret making the call to the police. Let me tell you something. If someone tried to rip me off, even for $5, and they got killed by the police, I'd have no regrets.
Right. Because
the regret they have is that people are looking at them and investigating them.
Yes.
And nobody, no media, nobody wants to say that these guys are thugs. Recruiting stupid black folks to become Muslim jihadis against their black Christian brothers and sisters. They're the only ones that they're going to hurt if they blow up something.
Mm-hmm.
Or go and fight in the Middle East for the Arabs who oppress black people. These days, when I hear someone's a Muslim, I'm not certain whether to think they're cool or if they're okay. Because I see them willing to fight for Islam, but there's no fight for the black.
Right.
I have enough of that among Christians. So we got all of these religious folks who have excuses as to why they can't take a stand for black people. Some of them are Muslim now. And I'll say this like I said before, Malcolm X never been born. If it could cut down on the numbers of Muslims that we got now. I didn't say that I don't respect Islam or people, because they go do that. He's insulted Islam. That's not pure Islam. Pure Islam does support the enslavement of black people, like it does in Mauritania, Saudi Arabia, and Yemen, and other places where black folks get screwed over. So don't tell me whether it is called pure Islam or not, it purely kicks us in the ass.
Right.
Just as much as a white supremacist hijacked fake Christianity that most of us are involved in.
Right. Right. Blind eye.
Just saying it like it is. Let's go back to Mr. Abu Malayev. So they've got all of this crooked activity going on, and no one's even interviewed or questioned. That's a crime scene. Where is this $20 bill? Now they're saying he gave a bad check. A bad check? Come on now. And no one's talking about the fact that Mr. Chauvin knew Mr. Abu Malayev. And Mr. Abu Malayev knew all of those guns. These are regulars that hang out at that place. This was a mob Islamic narco terrorist hit on one of their customers. And of course, it's racist. They don't like black people, but shoot, we still spend money. Join their religion. They let me lead the prayer. Shit, you could have your own church as a Christian coon. Let me lead the prayer. Well, I got the accent that they have. Shit, you haven't even mastered English and you live in this country, but you've mastered a language where people don't even like you, who call you abid, which means slave. And that's it. That's progress. Nah. It's kept us back. I don't like bogus Christianity. I don't like anything that holds black people down. And something else that I have to say. Who took this money from Mr. Floyd? Isn't it interesting that there's no personnel from the store that have been interviewed? Do you realize that what's been reported to me that an underage black female served Mr. Floyd? Let me say to you, if you have an underage female working there, you're in trouble with labor people.
Yep.
There's something else. The rumor is Mr. Abu Malayev, but I do know this is common in the Islamic world, has a taste for young girls, especially if they're underage. And it's no secret that girls as young as 6 and 7 and 8 years old that get married and are fornicated or humped to death by their husbands. The young girl can't handle an adult man's feet. Right?
Right.
So this guy is alleged to be a pedo that paid $50,000 to a black family to look the other way because he messed with their underage girl.
And they took the
First of all, he was worth $250,000. billion. Shit, give me 2.5. Shit. I'll move out the city. I'll take the girl with me. Are you feeling me?
Yeah.
And I need to remind people that I can't breathe. When Mr. Eric Garner was choked to death, he was killed outside of a Arab store. You see, they were selling probably untaxed cigarettes, and he was selling untaxed cigarettes. They had him killed. We've never heard anybody say they were sorry from the next door where Eric gone. The Arabs, probably good Muslims. That's what our little coons say. Well, they gave me the greeting. Y'all funny, y'all coons. Hell, you don't have to leave your shoes. You could have stayed in the church and been a coon. And had decent music and better food. Maybe it's because they let you mess with underage girls. Maybe that's the real attraction. Or you can have more than one wife, put them on welfare, and then talk about how dysfunctional the Black family is. A lot of hypocrites. I don't like them. I call it nigger Muslims. So you got nigger Christians. They really saved, don't want to be good people. I see folks who have the same bad traits they had when they were street coons. Put another religious name on it, it's supposed to be legit. Sure, I'm right. Sure, I said it.
But these things are what needs to be said. People need to hear this, Doctor.
Yeah, I mean, and they'll say, well, he's attacking my religion. No, I'm attacking you not being about anything in your religion. People spend all their time and giving the church hell. And I don't mind if they give the church hell. You know I love when people mess with the church. Right. But if I'll do that to my own, why can't I kick you in the behind too? Why wouldn't I kick you in the behind?
Exactly.
Right?
Because there's a greater game at play. We're talking about liberation of a whole peoples. We're talking about a people, a group of people who've been traditionally pushed to the back. Finally say, you know what? Let's just get off this damn bus, build our own fucking bus, and we'll ride that down the street.
And I'll just say they have been hiding Mr. Floyd's white girlfriend. She hasn't given a statement. She probably didn't give a damn about it. And maybe she was on meth just like he was. Did he deserve to die? No.
No. Absolutely not.
Do I want people to raise hell and give folks hell? I do. Do I want justice for everybody persecuted? Yes, I do. Am I going to go out and say I don't respect him? No. And I'll also say that porn video, he's telling the girl what a pretty pussy she had and all that kind of stuff. Okay. At some point, white society is going to tell the truth about Floyd George.
Right.
And I'm going to say this to you. The most predictable people in the country are white liberals who are with you 1 second and gone the next. They march with King 1 second, and then they're Nixon conservative the next. They stand for nothing. And look at all the breastfeeding. Look, they're white young people against racism. What the fuck? They're not supposed to be for racism in the first place. That shows how racist society is, that they're feeling good that the young, but they don't say they're all white people out there against them. Okay. Right. The ones that are going to vote, the ones with the power, the ones that are in charge. So I've seen this before with the white people in the 60s and 70s, and they were all interested in justice. And when it came time to pay a mortgage and start a family, they doubled down and were just as racist as their parents. There will be no change. Oh, well, the passage of time will make people different. Only dumb fuck black people talk that shit. You're not a lot of dumb fuck black people that they almost deserve to be flayed. That's like thinking, you know, when I was in Kentucky, I was trying to grab a bag to take some food to the hotel. And when I grabbed one bag, I heard chinkle in it. And it turned out that Dr. Dawson had a bunch of slave shackles that are at least 170 years old. And I've seen them. Do you know that the slave shackles, they still work? They're still tough, and they could chain your behind up with them. The passage of time didn't make those shackles fall apart. That insurrection law that Trump dusted off to come down on people was passed to deal with black people. And they just dusted off 213 years later to use it on black people again if they felt like it.
Wow.
Time doesn't change systems. People and movements and institutions change systems.
Yes.
Get that right and don't forget it. Last but not least, there have been black folks killed all over the country since these protests, and there's been practically no attention to them. The main person I hear complain about black folk getting killed, ironically, has been Donald Trump. This is crazy. The black police officer four of them have been shot and killed, if not more. And there have been black people. There's a black restaurateur shot and killed in Louisville, trying to get people to not to create a public disturbance. Right. There's been blacks murdered and beaten all over the country, and there's been no attention on it. You see, this is a certified, supported, endorsed movement. If you ever get a chance, there's a very good movie or documentary to watch by California newsreel called One More River to Cross. And it's about the Memphis sanitation workers strike of March, April 1968. And one of the gentlemen in the film talks about what's this thing called? AFSCME. The AFSCME union, the American Federation of Service and so workers, were not supporting the black trashmen who weren't making enough money to live, although they were paying dues to the union. They were against the strike that the two black men got crushed to death in the trash truck. They were against the strike because they didn't call it. So it didn't matter that the men would go home with maggots in their hair and smell of, they had to carry the trash cans on their bodies, and they'd reek the trash, and they didn't make enough money, and they were receiving food stamps, and they were treated horribly. It didn't matter to the white liberal unionists. And their thing is, you can't call a strike. Only we can call it. And they had to drag the white union people into it who didn't support their own union members getting the most basic of things. And that's indicative of America. So when you see all these goddamn marches out here, somebody white approves it. Because had those just been black folks, they would have tear gas, shot, and killed them in good numbers, and it wouldn't have mattered a damn.
Correct.
The reason that they didn't shoot and beat people more is because the crowds were mixed. Have I seen this play before? Yes. I happened to volunteer many years ago with what's called the Cultural Project that was started by none other than Robert Moses, the creator of the Freedom Summer Project in the Mississippi Delta in the 1960s. And the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee reached a point where they could not be effective. They're getting beaten, they're getting killed, they're getting shot. Everything's happening, and they can't get the media to notice it. And the answer was, black lives don't matter, but white lives do. Let's get some white people to come to Mississippi. If they get beat up, shot, and jailed, people will discover there is an effort in Mississippi. 56 years later, where black lives don't matter, in particular to black people, enslaved black lives do matter to the system, not free ones. And we don't like free ones either. Free ones get us in trouble with folks who like us, and enslaved ones. We still need to have the presence of white people to legitimize and to protect and to help us, because we are not united, or these aren't really our movements.
Right.
We need to understand that the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee was funded by the Kennedy family and others. These are the same people that are funding Black Lives Matter today, which is why I call Black Lives Matter a homoerotic version of SNCC. And in 2016, in fact, who was out there saying Black Lives Matter with the mayor of Washington, D.C.? They're both crooked deviants, was John Lewis and Muriel Bowser. John Lewis was in what? The SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. A closeted stage 4 cancer survivor thus far, tisk tisk. John Lewis. The SNCC movement helped support the rise of feminism and the gay movement. It did. We thought it was about us. It's not about us.
No, it's not.
The Freedom Singers, who, they're singing at Atlantic City when you see Fannie Lou Hamer and so forth. You see I was told a distant relative of mine, I won't say which one, she's a fat sister, who I think is married to a lady. If she's not married to a white lady, she's married to a black one. So the head of the Freedom Singers, she's gay. The Freedom Singers, you always see all these civil rights. She's a lesbian. And her daughter's a lesbian. And 300 The Rock has a heavy lesbian following. And I think they record on a lesbian's own record label. Just saying. And I like the music too. Okay? If I can like Will Richard, I can like these stuff too. I like your beat. I just don't like what you do when you're not necessarily. No. Are you with me?
Yep.
So we're being played. We're being played. We do need justice. We need freedom. In fact, that's the real thing that Black people need. And we keep talking about pieces of it. We don't mean when we say we want freedom. Freedom, not just from police brutality, but from white rule with impunity. Why don't we have this discussion? There's no verse in the Bible that tells me that my life is supposed to be ruled and dominated by white people from birth to death and the next generation. And yet the way we discuss these things, you would think it does. How do we negotiate being ruled by people who don't treat us right?
Right.
Let's have a real discussion. What we really want is freedom. We shouldn't even be talking about police brutality in the 1880s, in the 1870s. They passed the Enforcement Act in 1870, 1871 because of police brutality. In the South, a ex-slave slaving president passed such a law. Why are they used? I'll tell you why. The Boule Coons and all the others are afraid that they'll lose a little bit that they have, because you see, you have the have-nothing blacks and the half-little blacks. The half-little blacks hate the hell out of the have-nothing blacks. They hate them more than anybody or anything. Okay. We have more black separation between the blacks that have a little bit and the blacks that have nothing than what we have from white people.
Correct.
Try to marry a white person, you could. Whether he's marrying into one of those little Boule families.
You better be willing to change your name.
I change everything. So, now I want to talk about what I saw. I saw Nancy Pelosi on her knees. I thought she dropped a glass to get the rest of her drink before it spilled into the carpet. You had all those fake-ass people in Congress who can't take cloth on. Nancy Pelosi is a drunken, racist bitch who has held black people back, and all the little black people in Congress. I'm just telling you, if we have a revolution, I wouldn't want to be a black elected official. If we had real change, a lot of those folks would be put in jail, and certain folks wouldn't make it there because of what they've been doing, what they've been allowing to happen. I'm not advocating for it, but if it happened, I wouldn't be shocked if someone didn't beat some folks into next year. Okay. And that's what I said. If we were really having a movement, black folk would be going after black leadership. They've allowed this stuff. Marching on the police precinct doesn't do much. If folks went after the black folk, black officials all over the country and said, we're going to get your asses. We're going to get you. Okay. And by the way, there won't be a whole lot of police to protect them because they don't care about them. The same way the cops aren't there. When a black cop gets into trouble, do you see white cops trying to help them? Like when that Somali who shot that Australian bitch up in Minnesota, did you see him get a lot of support from his white homies?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
And I ain't mad at him. Okay? I'm really not. I'm not mad at him. My thing is stop it, y'all. Stop it. Stop letting the people who claim to be our leadership way with black genocide. You know, if you see something like they say on the subway here, see it, say it. If you see this and you're a black official or a black coon preacher or whatever, and you don't say anything, you're complicit. Silence equals death, not just for gays, but for black people. So I saw all those little broke down, fake ass black people with kente cloth on. And in particular, I saw Clanburn, that little coon ass nigga from South Carolina. And I've been watching all these shows talking about racism on television, and they even had Joe Biden, and he's on there talking about how he's going to change it. Damn, he's the architect of it getting this fucked up in the first place.
Yes, he is.
So no, hell no. In fact, I'm gonna tell you something, and we had this conversation, brother. Donald Trump, the way he does stuff, even if he doesn't mean it for our, has been so helpful to black people. We've got more international support with Donald Trump as president than we ever had under Bush, or for that matter, Obama. All kinds of folks. I mean, the supreme leader in their hand is talking about how black people don't get any. Damn, the country's talking about this. This never happened with a Democrat that we all liked.
Correct.
So, you know.
They're always
so
quiet.
Same,
Even Obama.
The same black folk, okay. The same black folk, okay, who celebrated Obama doing nothing for us are the same ones fighting against Trump.
Correct.
So, nope. I'm not trying to get it. I don't want anybody. I mean, in fact, come on, y'all. We need our own black political party and all this stuff. What do it? You know, do you know I have begged some of these niggas? They're really fake-ass Democratic sellouts. Hey, brother, okay, you're right. I won't be a Republican. Let's have a black group of resettlement amendment and black business. Those niggas' eyes glaze over. You know why? They're getting crumbs from the man.
Right. They don't want to.
Now, are the Republicans any better? Nope. Because they ain't saying nothing to Trump. Trump should have been called out until stuff he's saying. Those people who have access to Trump won't say anything. So we're being betrayed by supposedly Republican folks who are black who there's never reason to stand up. Now, you can get this broad, Candace Owens, to say how much she doesn't admire Mr. Floyd. And the issue isn't about whether you admire him or not. The issue is that he got murdered.
Right. Right.
And by the way, the girl he was looking on the video I saw looked like Candace Owens, but she's a little prettier. And at least as far as the video's concerned, she's like a black dick. I don't know if Candace do. Yeah, I said it.
Well,
she's at least the porn star like black dudes. Okay.
And the sad thing about it, in this day and age, we have to say, thank God it was straight porn. Thank God it was fucking
and it's nothing about porn. It's all nasty. I didn't watch the whole thing. My main thing was trying to see dude with the face that sure looked like him, sounded like him. And I always felt, he had that fucking nose. His mom had a dose of thalidomide before she dropped him. I think, I said it. I I always felt ambivalent, although I didn't want him to die. And I wish he had not been killed. And in fact, I wish that nobody was killed. But you know what? We had hundreds of black men to die in prisons that are on lockdown all over this country because of COVID. They're dying, my friend. You know, nobody's speaking out for them. Right. Those black lives don't matter. If we like this book, we should like some others that are living that we can help.
Yes. You know, there's all kinds of black folks out there needing, like Sister Dorothy Gang. She needs help. She was fucked over by the system. The Good Doctor, the show. There's so many of us out here who needs the economic viability to put our plans in motion. And if we don't do it for ourselves, Doctor, if somehow, some way, you know, those Air Jordans are too, you know, they're too important. We'll get them, but we won't help others. We won't help brothers and sisters out here on the front line putting in real work.
Listen to that. You're talking about Michael Jordan. They have been trotting out a Hall of Fame of coons who are all of a sudden speaking up about stuff. And I'm going to tell you why they're doing it. They're listening to shows like yours.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
And they're beginning to hear the voices of black media talk about what's going on. And they're trying to correct it by proving us wrong. So they got Oprah. They're getting out black billionaires. These folks are being told. You know, I could just see someone now. Bitch, you're going to go on TV, Oprah. You're going to get your fat ass up there and you're going to confuse black people or we're going to cut your money. And so all of a sudden you see Oprah out here. All these people with platforms that could have been talking decades ago.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything crazy. I'm not talking about, you know, bitch, if you can push for a black man to be president of the United States, you could talk about savings and loans. You could talk about farming. You could talk about housing.
Right.
I mean, no one's going to kill you. It's because you don't care. Someone told her to do this shit the same way they told her to mess with, what's his name? Oh, help me. Michael Jackson was, I'm talking about the one, Hustle Simmons. Now, have you noticed that they're after Hustle Simmons again? In the next couple of days, once this thing dies down, they're going to find all the awful things that black men have done. And they're going to run this for the rest of the year of all the bad stuff black men do for white men to feel better about themselves, killing people and doing the stuff that they do to oppress others. You mark my words, they're going to be black mass shooters, black rapists, they're going to black pedophiles. They're going to find everything that black men ever did to try to take back the little bit of shine that has fallen on black men due to what's happened to Floyd George.
And others.
Mark your words. Now, let me go back to this bill that Nancy Pelosi and them are pushing in D.C. That bitch should have done that years ago. I don't give a flying fuck about the Congressional Black Caucus. All of them are scammers.
Right.
I mean, and by the way, they waited. Nancy Pelosi, the fact that she could get this bill pushed, she's been Speaker or leader, House leader for the Democrats for 15 years. We have had thousands of black people, if not tens of thousands of black people murdered. And it took this, because it's an election year, and because black people are saying no to the Democratic Party, that this drunken bitch is gotten on her knee with some kente cloth on. I hope her boss bag is kente too when she vomits up all the drinks she's had. Okay. Now they're going to do this thing only because we're saying, fuck you, cracker. I'm not voting for you. I'm not afraid of Trump. Do you realize if Trump should win again, the Democrats are going to become more aggressive in trying to court black voters? We may actually benefit from Trump winning again. So now they're going to do almost anything.
Right. Get us real tangibles.
Yeah, we need tangibles. I agree. I just don't support them. I don't care. What's his name? Biden can go to hell along with his son, and it's already died. And I hope he didn't kill his first wife. I always wondered about that wife because he never talks about her. She's the mother of his kids.
Mm.
She found out he was touching somebody inappropriate. She found out he had her bumped off to an accident. I just wonder. I just say he did.
Mm. And that's within the realm of freedom of speech, yeah. We can always speculate on different scenarios.
I didn't say he did.
No, he did not say he did.
But I've often wondered, because that happens in white families.
Quite often.
Can you imagine? Damn it, Brittany. I was trying to show our daughter about interparental nutrition. That's it. Right. I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. Didn't your father show you? I'm leaving you. Right. Just imagine how the fight died. I wonder. Yeah, I do. I said it out loud.
Oh my God. The way you put that, I can so see that going down. You're not leaving me. And then the next thing you know, they're at the funeral mass.
If you gotta leave me, you can have the family car.
Didn't your father teach you?
Let me take it to the station. I'll fill up the tank for you. Yeah, I wonder if he had her killed. I do.
But a lot of this goes back.
A lot of the stuff goes on. You've seen House of Cards. I wonder, did Biden do a House of Cards? Did he bump off his first wife? Because I'm telling you, if I was a wife and I thought he broke the shit, I'd be worried about his ass.
See,
I would. And when people find out, when the husband finds out he's a predator or something like that, and the wife doesn't want to wear ermines and pearls and diamonds and all, and still wonder at the little spot in the girl's dress, a jelly bean, the daddy hit it again. And there are a lot of fake ass women who only care about possessions, that don't love kids, who don't mind if their man rapes their kid.
Exactly.
We have a lot of it in our community, who sorry ass mothers. They don't deserve a Mother's Day. They need a bitch day. In fact, every day is a bitch day because they never stop being one.
That is so true. That is so true.
So I'm just asking, come on, just indulge me. Wonder when we see House of Cards and all the stuff they do, you wonder how Mrs. Hyde disappeared. And how do you confuse your sister with your wife? I hope you don't do it when they close the off. Okay, I'm just saying. Shoot.
Sibling
so
love.
No, we gonna have we gonna bring Richard Pryor's ass back from the dead. We used to have black comedians that would roll on these people, make fun of these sorry ass people.
Yeah.
If nothing else, if you hate me and you oppress me, I should at least be able to laugh at you and talk about your sorry, ugly, pale ass. You should know that we're laughing when your back is turned. And I saw Joe Biden. He seemed so lucid. He must have overdosed on Primogen before he went on ABC. I mean, his nuts are more strung together than his thought. I'm just telling you. Sorry.
Well, this is what you get, with our society. You mentioned something. One thing that Democrats love to give us is Planned Parenthood. They love to give us aborted black babies. They love to give us broken homes. They love to take the man out of position of power. Oh, yeah. Drugs. And they like to do it Ed Buck style with the drugs. Right up the butt. Right up the butt. So we have to be honest. We have to have these real honest conversations.
And I have to talk to Justin that I wish to overdose. Did you hear Little Wayne blaming black people for police brutality?
Really? Well,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Little Wayne who gets kissed by Mr. Carter, and I've seen the videos of them. Oh, this is my son. You know, French kissing and carrying on. You know, I really don't listen to fags. I'm sorry, I just don't. I don't really care what they have to say. You know, because in my opinion, man, a lot of those rappers, you know, are fags. Let's just be honest, they're fags. They don't know how to kick it with one woman and raise a real family, but they know how to have three ways with their homie and a girl, which is gay. They have, you know, they know how to basically
Well, they treat the girl
self-destruct.
with a condom. They think if they infect her, they won't get their friend.
Wow. See, and this type of nastiness is promoted not to us old heads, but to the young. Yeah, you want to be a baller, you want to be this, you want to be that, and all this bullshit that they're talking about being won't benefit them. I'm talking about you need to be an engineer, you need to be a mathematician, you need to be a scientist, you need to be a man of reason and purpose, or a woman of reason and purpose. That's what you need to be. Fuck all this dumb shit.
And I could be an engineer too. I make the neutron cock. I think my painkiller is kicking in.
You know, but there has been one group we kind of glassed over, and that is the small sombrero crowd, the ones who fund. You know, a lot of these people.
This is their joint.
Yes.
This is their joint, and I want to talk about the illegals. Now, let me go through this again. These so-called black lives, I call them black fag, fat or black, whatever this bullshit. Okay. It has three. It's a stool with three legs. And I like the word stool. Okay, I like that. One leg of the stool is that Biden must be elected at all costs. So if you know they're giving him all this positive attention, trying to help him burnish his bad racial image with black people, it's not going to work.
Right.
And that little Magic Johnson Jr. looking Simone Sanders and others are going to be made to look like fools. Because when Donald Trump begins going into the stadiums, and I just want to remind y'all this, when Donald Trump starts hitting the road again, those places are not going to have 100,000 people. They're going to have 250,000 people. Because these white folk have been, they can't even go out and protest against the marching because they have to stay and do the COVID. The only people to even express their rage with this bullshit of the fires and Antifa is going to be going to the Trump rally. It's going to be huge. Donald Trump is going to jump up in the polls. And Biden looks like he's sucking the penis of the black rioters. It's losing votes every day. Every day. And by the way, they made that little white girl that he raped. I mean, imagine, dude, you know, he didn't even wash his hands, bro. He was singing to the girl's thing, you know, and then I thought you liked me. I'm just thinking, you led with that? You led with your dirty finger in the woman's vagina telling her that you thought she liked you? I mean, the social skills there are really interesting. Can you imagine that same finger that went in the vagina without being washed on the butt box? I like Little Town. It's the same finger they stuck in that woman. It's going to be full of. I don't think I want the fact that they probably have to disinfect the button box after he touched it. Look. So they want Biden in, but Trump is going to soar with white people in the polls. Black people are not going to vote this year. They're really not.
Right.
Okay, they're not. Okay, it's not happening. So they want Biden in. That's not going to happen. Number two, they have put all these gay black folk everywhere to draw black people back into supporting gay as the new black and feminism, woman as the new man, man as the new woman, and children as the new sex object.
Sick.
That's part two. Part three, kumbaya, we are the world. Let all the illegal in so they can replace black people, and black folks not complaining. We don't want any borders. And that's why you see all these illegals out marching with Mexican flags and shit, while the Mexicans are killing black people in Cicero, Illinois, and all across the country. So they're trying to get this, and they've been saying black, brown, like it's peanut butter and jelly. Well, I don't eat this shit anymore. And I don't believe in black, brown, anything, okay? I got black and brown in my family. I'm brown. My dad's black. I don't need another group of people for black, brown. In fact, our black, brown, and yellows and tans be fighting amongst ourselves.
Right.
We black people of multiple shades need to fucking come together before we even think about getting with these sombrero and Corona drinking racists who are here illegally. Okay, fuck them. Okay, you have a country, it's called Mexico. And the only reason the United States didn't take that from you is because they didn't want the country to look like us. So we did you a favor. Black people, the reason the United States didn't keep Mexico, they didn't want the country to become a brown, black country. That's in 1848. So, please go back to where you came from, revitalize your economy. In fact, have a real pro-people government so your government will stop sucking the rectum of this racist government we have here, then you would get somewhere. Stop messing with people in Venezuela that want to help themselves, right? You took out Libya. You won't help Haiti? Right. So those are the three stools. And you know what? Each one of those stools separately has a little word or phrase. Let me tell you what it means. Fuck black people. There's nothing in it for us. Let this shit fall. What I'm going to say about Trump and this revolution that his people have been having is that no matter what, the demographics in this country are changing. They are.
They are.
And Donald Trump isn't hurting black people. He's not hurting black people. And if anything, black people are going to get stronger if we can get, I think there have been about 25 cities or states that have stopped giving money to Planned Parenthood since Trump has been in. God knows how many black babies are not dead today because he's been president. He's been president 4 years.
Right.
Frankly, there may be 500,000 black people alive today that would be dead otherwise.
No one talks about that.
For Hillary. We abort, 500,000 or more black babies every year. The numbers have been forced down. There are a lot of people walking around because of Donald Trump, be he prejudiced or not. And all my wonderful friends like Nancy Pelosi, that saw Planned Parenthood, you got to kill those babies. That's essential.
Exactly.
Not having toilet paper, not having water to drink or get your electric bill. But if you want to kill that baby, that shit's open. You need some help. Now, if I want to buy a bicycle or a car or get a payday loan, you can't help me. But if I want to kill a black baby,
yeah.
I mean, these folks will come out
right
there
here
and all. Want to give you a goodie bag. Well, this is right. This is amazing.
There's a Popeye chicken sandwich in this bitch. This is the lunacy.
And you can kill the baby before it grows up to kill you to fight for it.
This is the absurdity. This is what we have been programmed. Unless you break the fucking programming, you are this what we're talking about by fucking default. You have to consciously break the fucking programming to even see what the fuck we're really talking about. If you just walked in off the street and hear this conversation, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, what are these guys talking about? We don't have a clue."
And look at Stacey Abrams. They're gonna try to put a silly ass black woman that don't like black men as vice president. Well, that's another reason. You know what? I'm either not going to vote or I'm going to vote against Biden. I'm absolutely not going to vote for his dad. Fuck him. Fuck all his friends. Fuck everybody listening to this that's going to vote for Biden. Fuck you. Okay. The person that created this hysteria about all the black folks being in jail and all of that is Biden.
Yeah. My grandmother's done to get busted in the head. when he made that whack ass speech when they were voting on it. He's like, one of these thugs coming with a lead pipe and bust your grandmother over the head. I'm not gonna stand for it. The fucking thug. Take that word out your brain and insert nigger. Thug.
Right.
Insert nigger. Those niggers come in with a fucking lead pipe. I ain't gonna let them bust grandma. That's what he's telling the Congress, man. And then they voted on that jukey ass bill.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's done us wrong.
Yes, he's done humanity wrong. He's done himself wrong. No telling how many people personally he has done wrong by touching and fondling and caressing and whatnot. Because he's Biden, the cuddly bear? Always want to cuddle.
Look at Delaware. Delaware is about 25% black. I say 17, I don't believe it. Black folk are treated like shit in Delaware. Delaware is more southern than Kentucky.
Damn.
It's backwards. Black people don't have anything. They're miserable. They're uneducated. Nothing happens. It never gets better. It's terrible. Biden is the monster. Biden ain't created no jobs for black people in Delaware. Mitch McConnell does stuff for black in Kentucky. And Mitch McConnell's nobody liberal. Why can't Joe Biden have a record equal to what Mitch McConnell has?
Because Joe Biden don't give a fuck. He knows. He has been Joe Biden has been programmed. These Negroes will come and vote for me anyhow. I don't even have to offer them nothing. He's been programmed to do that. And sure enough.
That they have.
Go ahead.
They have police slayings in Delaware regularly. You'll never hear about it. There was a policeman that shot this black man in a wheelchair, I think back in 2013. Shot him about 8 times.
In the wheelchair.
In a wheelchair.
He feared for his life, did he?
No. But you didn't hear about it.
No. No, I did not. And there's many, many more stories like that. Not just in Delaware.
I talked about the lynching in Delaware. That there was a truck that would go around and pick up black men and hang them.
What?
And what Joe Biden Jr. did was they went and persecuted the black community for fighting it. One guy whose brother was lynched was trying to get something done. He was shot down in downtown Dover in front of the court. They have cameras everywhere. No one saw that. I just don't respect, if you're black and you're going to vote for Biden, fuck you. I just don't respect you.
Because you're voting against your own self-interest at the end of the day. That's what's going down.
Yeah, money. Sometimes you got to go strategic. Vote for anybody. Vote for Donald Duck. Don't respect that. And you know what? No disrespect. When the African Union denounced the United States for racism, they haven't done anything. African folks haven't done anything like this since the 1960s. You know why, though?
Why?
Trump has treated them like chumps.
Well, in all fairness,
he's treated them worse than he treats black Americans.
And they're not accustomed to getting their Negro.
They're used to us getting that treatment, not them. So Trump has basically treated everybody black as the same. I like that.
Because it's opportunity for us to get it together and realize we're in this together. But then you got those super coons over there in Kemet, though. The ones who works for the colonizers, hand in hand and foot on neck of the average person. And until they deal with that crew, then, there will be no freedom in Kemet. For real. Because you're just...
We're not going to get a change until some of these Africans think. And that may never happen.
Like it's just too strong. Like
So Donald Trump has made everybody mad. He's been unifying the black world. I don't care how he does it. It's such a difficult task. As Donald Trump can make African heads of state care about what happens to black people in America after 5 years, I'd say 4 more years.
4 more years. 4 more years.
Black folk got killed the entire time Obama was in. Obama had folk killed all over Libya and Haiti. African leaders didn't say a damn thing. Donald Trump called them shithole countries. Woo. That was a wake up. I love it. Wake them all the way up.
And for those who, I'm sorry, doctor. I
if you've ever worked a job or been in a place that was racist,
yes,
and there are new black people that come in, and they're the type that don't want to hear anything you have to say, and only after they get fucked at the job do they understand what you're trying to tell them. I see Africans and others the same way.
You're trying to tell them, man.
No. They have to get a foot in their ass before we can have a conversation. And therefore, I'm getting out the way so the boot can hit the sweet spot. So let these people know. They have to know what this is for themselves. You cannot vicariously explain racism to people.
Nope.
They must feel it. They must say, damn, this guy just hates the way I look. I can't work it out. I can't sell you out, Black American, to get closer to him. So I thank Trump to keep it coming. And my God, 4 more years, there'll be Africans that start teaching Black history in African schools. So let me tell you something, a real story. 16 years ago, I went to Ghana. And I stayed on the campus of their leading school. And I even met people in the history department and everything else, right? And Legon University of Ghana.
Wow.
One day, I asked, could I go to their reading room for graduate students? The reading room was a room that was kept under lock and key. And I got into their reading room. It was like getting into the executive washroom. And when I got in there, it was quite a shock to me. Because at that point, I was a student at Howard. And I would say within reason in my library, private library, just in the university, I had a big room staying in Howard Towers. I would estimate I would have probably had about 3,000 books.
Wow.
Okay, what I had personally. When I got into the graduate reading room of the University of Ghana for history, they may have had 800 or fewer books. In fact, I'm being kind, maybe 500.
At the biggest university in the whole country?
Do you know there wasn't one book about Black Americans in the entire collection? There was practically nothing about, you know what I did in the room? I cried.
Wow.
At the same time, all the years I had thought that African people who had never heard of slavery or the slave trade or Jim Crow, that they were just being assholes who just wanted to like, that there wasn't a fucking thing, not a book on Malcolm X or Marcus Garvey or Martin Luther King, or for that matter, Nelson Mandela. Not one book.
And this is 16 years ago, folks, not a million years ago. 16 years ago.
Not one. There's Napoleon and all kinds of stuff.
Well, because of the French influence. Yeah, obviously.
They had the white people shit down.
Charlemagne, all that.
Yeah, that's there. Not, but specifically not Black America. Nothing. They had textbooks, all kinds of stuff. And I went to their bookstore. There was nothing on Black people. Zero. Zilch.
As if we don't even exist.
And Ghana, they're very nice. They're wonderful people. I'm not picking. I went to South Africa. And the only bookstore I could find with some books, it was owned by a white communist woman who was a Hindu with the little dot on her forehead, in Soweto. And almost all the books were about white people. There's a little teeny tiny section with a little bit of stuff on South Africa. There was, zero. South Africa and Nigeria, I've been to school and there's not dancing, nothing. These Africans don't have, I know, shit about what's going on throughout most of the world. It's really not an issue.
Wow, that's bad.
I'm not picking, I cried because I had been angry at Africans. I thought they were just being liars. And in reality, the smartest African kid may never see a book with anything about Black people in it his entire time, no matter what. And then when they get there for grad study, they're more white-minded than a white kid from the U.S. And everything you're saying is different from everything they've been told for 20 years. You're just a contrarian. That's the disconnect between Africans and African Americans. Now, the good news, I said there's the internet. And Black media and people like Trump who actually give people the real deal. He's not lying about a whole bunch of stuff. If he's not saying what's true, he's giving a point of view that's common to a certain sector of people. Are you hearing me, brother?
Correct.
So Donald Trump is doing for us like Africans. When the United States began to change certain rules about racism in America to accommodate Africans come here, not for us. Many people don't know this. And in order to compete with the Russians and the Chinese supercommunists and the non-aligned movement, the United States tried to clean up the excesses of its racism to lure Africans and others to be on their side. Once the communist movement, at least the one that we had before, collapsed in the late 80s, early 90s, not only has life gotten harder for Black people in America, it's gotten harder for Africans, but there's a whole era in which the United States doesn't feel like it has to do certain things to compete because it was the sole superpower.
Right.
Now the Chinese, who Trump can't stand, are doing their stuff, and they don't like Black people either. You now have Trump and the Chinese and others forcing Africans to think for the first time ever.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. This has never happened before. It would have never happened under Hillary Clinton. It will never happen under Joe Biden. Joe Biden will have hundreds of Black American coons who will lie to people all over the world about America. Trump doesn't even try to have that many black people around.
No.
And he's actually giving the real white corporate image. I'm not mad. And we aren't losing. We have a long game. Black people should be preparing for 2024. 2028. 2032. When this country's demographic shift come. And if this corona is going to be here for a while, it's going to do a couple of things. We're going to be forced to eat better. It's the same way, I think I might just do it. I have some zinc tablets. I need to put them up on my mama's plate. I need to get me some more zinc. We need to eat better.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, speaking of that, did you hear about the conspiracy where the World Health Organization got busted?
Doing what this time?
Lying against the hydroxychloroquine. Mm-hmm.
Well, you can understand why. They need panic and fear to seize more control on a global level.
And they can sell the $4,500 a pop vaccination shots.
Correct.
Now, I think I told you, starting on May 9th, 2020, I began taking hydroxychloroquine. I have taken, let me see, 3, 4, I take about 8 pills since May 9th. And frankly, I mean, I could take one maybe next week or a week or so from now, and I'll be just fine. Are you feeling me?
You've been traveling a great deal.
Yes, but I was on the airplane. I didn't take any before going on the airplane the other day. I did have a mask on, but I was in Kentucky for a month. I barely wore a mask. And hydroxychloroquine with zinc kills the coronavirus. And they've done everything they could to scare people and make them think that this stuff doesn't work. And they got busted that they had lied and had bad data.
Yeah, that's all they had to say. Or data.
So I had people tripping, telling me I was trying to mess them. No.
Yeah, I got a few comments about that, during the quarantine when you first brought this up. And they were like, don't you have concerns about touting this or that? And it's like, I don't tout anything for one. And what we talk about in our discussions, we talk about in our discussions. Some of it's hypothetical, some of it's some random scenarios. But when, things are factual based, I always say, hey, no, this is factual based, and you can look it up here and you can look it up there. And like the doctor just pointed out.
I've been taking it. I'm saying I can't tell you what it do for everyone else, but I sure don't have it. And it hasn't caused my heart to fail and so forth. In fact, whenever I've taken them, which is weird, not that I take a whole lot, I had some hay fever and shit. That thing helped knock my hay fever off. So, I'm just saying, but that's for me, not for everybody.
No, just heard thunder. Getting back to the World Health Organization, aren't there some eugenics roots to that organization?
I don't know the eugenics roots to it, but I do know that Gates, his father is a eugenicist who's still alive, who hated black people. And these people don't they don't care.
No, they do not. They do. And once again, this is important because of grandpa, using Bill Gates' family. You have the father, then you have Bill Gates, but then you have the children and the cousins. How many of them shares grandpa's attitude, but uses Bill's computer infrastructures to make racist ass programs? Because see, here's the problem. We're finding that there's racism in the codes that runs the internet, the gears, the mechanics behind all of it. So people in different zip codes get different ads. People in who look different, they get different, once again, ads or opportunities to make money. All this stuff is built into it. And until we realize, until we're saying, yes, it's there. And we don't, oh no, I'm covering my head, doctor. This is all fake. This is all fake. But no, this is very much real. And the consequences of people being broke prior to quarantine, and then when we come out of quarantine, you have people funding protesting. You see why? Because there was a lot of black folks that did not get a stimulus checks because they didn't file taxes for various reasons. They didn't get unemployment because they didn't have a real job. They were getting cash under the table. Some may refer to them as shadow workers. So,
but you can get the stimulus check. Our people don't often research or read or talk to one another.
Yes.
There was a non-filer check. They could have gotten it. All they have to do is file. And so a lot of our people surround ourselves with people that don't know or don't think because we want to be comfortable. I like being around dummies. Anybody that's smart, I hate them. I've had people that don't come around with that old book shit. I like being stupid fucking slaves and shit. We have a lot of our people who are proud of being slaves, proud of being dumb fuck drudges for other people. And anybody black that has any light or knowledge, they just hate them without a cause. And wonder why things don't get better. Things don't get better because you're dumb as shit and that your life is full of shithead, stupid people stuck on stupid.
Correct.
And so, things don't change when folks are dumb. Well, you get STDs and children you don't want and drug habits and other things you broke and you end up homeless. There are lots of things that happen when you're stupid, but there's seldom things that you want.
Right.
And our people have tried to separate out being dumb from life outcomes.
Right.
For example, let me share with you some dumbness. Just my own personal dumbness. And I'm going to use your show for an opportunity to just say that today I have declared, because I got my drugs now and I have more coming, I have decided to quit the overweight obesity resistance army. I need to lose about 40, 50 pounds. Any one of those could be good. And I need to lose weight. I need to lose it quick, fast, and hurry. And I just couldn't be one of those people. You have fat people, they ruin everything. Like family reunion, if a fat person gets in front of you, there's no food for the rest of the people in line. Or you're trying to get on a bus or train, a fat person makes you miss it. I don't want to be one of those people. And not that I'm overly overweight, I'm not going to wait. So I'm going to be doing my colon cleanse. I love fried chicken, but I guess I can't have any for a long time. I'm going to cut back on meat consumption. I'm going to do all these things that I need to do in order to bring it down to maybe about, say, well, actually, if I just did, I'm fine. If I can just bring down a few pounds,
right?
Even if I did half of my goal, if I did 25 pounds, I'd be good. The more I do, there are all these black folk dying and getting sick because they're fat, they're hoarders, they're gluttons, they eat too damn much, and they know better. There's nothing more disgusting. One time I was with a friend and we were trying to go to a buffet because we didn't have a lot of money but wanted to eat good. And there was a woman that weighed about 500 pounds in a scooter that couldn't get over the doorstop to get in. Yeah, a fat black woman. But damn, the thing is, and I was trying to say to you, actually, because they only have one door and one door hadn't been latched, she was too fat to get into the place to eat. But you can't say that because we walk on eggshells around all this obesity in our community. In fact, the manager should have said, you know what, I'm going to help you out, man. Well, what are you going to do? I'm going to give you a thin soup that you can take home. Right? All this fatness. And people, it's in my family. Yeah, well, gluttony is in your family.
Right.
Sloth is in your family. Greed is in your family. Lack of exercise in your family. Poor dieting habits are in your family.
Right. You have to fast. There's no way around it.
Denial of reality is in your family. So I got on the scale. I weighed too much. I was helping someone out, and I think they weigh 120 pounds too much. It's killing them.
Of course. Carrying all that
and
weight.
Let me tell you, I was trying to help them. Let me tell you, when someone is fat and they have a problem, it's hard. It's hard lifting them up. I mean, that shit almost broke the damn muscle in my chest. It beat my chest was sore. I needed all this Benke and shit. And it was like, I mean, folk were making me want to believe in euthanasia shit the way my body was hurting me. Right? And so you got these people in our community, they weigh too much. You're 100, you're 200 pounds overweight, 300 pounds overweight, and no one says anything.
What can you
say? And I remember,
doctor?
I realized what was going on with me is I was, down in the South. I need air conditioning all the time. You know why? And I told her, I realized why I got hot so easily. You know why I get hot so easily? Because I'm fat. I'm fat. I'm fat for me. And if I took a picture, I don't look bad. I mean, in the clothes that I can find some, but just it's too much for what I should have. I should be about. If I did 30 pounds, I said 50. If I could do 30, I'd be great. If I did 50, it'd be even better, right?
Right.
Because I'm so fat, I sweat more. I'm hot because all this damn fat on me, keeping me warm. I mean, it's good in the wintertime, but damn, in the summertime, I feel like I'm in hell already. And, God hasn't even come back. So, and so I'm fat. And, and I got a little bit of nasty and shit, not much. But, the nipple sticking through the shirt and shit. I said, damn. And not like I exercise, not like exercise a healthy nipple. This is like, Burger King, McDonald's, Arby's nipple sticking through your shirt. No, have babies dropping pacifiers and shit like they want, hit you up. That's not right. It's not right. And so I just look at all you other people. We all need to agree as Black folks stop eating too much.
Right.
So I'm going to try to reduce what I eat, how much I eat, sugar intake, more fruit, more vegetables, and
eat things you don't have to cook. Eat things you don't. A good rule of thumb, if you really want to get back to it, go out your door. I mean, hopefully, you have some food products growing out there. Eat things you don't have to cook. As a rule of thumb, that cuts out your chicken, your pork, your steaks, your hamburgers, your hot dog, all that shit's out.
Said to my mom, I'm going to change how I do stuff. See, my mom's on this, niggas think it's not a meal unless it's a whole bunch of cooking and shit. And it can't be something simple.
Correct.
For me, I'm like that. For example, what I ate today? I'll tell you what I ate today. Or I had watermelon, honeydew, and nectarines. And I could eat like that, and I'm fine.
There it is.
That's down to the mom. All this production and shit that you need, it's part of why you're fat. You need to change what you've been eating, the concept. I know folk, but I've got to have a starch and a cooked vegetable and all this, so I didn't eat. Well, fuck you. That's why you're fat. The requirements of what you demand over food. That's why you're in the situation that you're in.
Yep. And people don't get it. Without the health, the nourishment of your body is so essential to basically you reaching a point in your mind to where you can be a constructive ally in the fight for reparations and liberation. If you're all sick and you're unhealthy, you ain't tripping on liberation. You damn sure ain't tripping on reparation. You're tripping on getting down to get your pills.
They're not tripping on existing another 5-10 years.
Right. Right.
You're too damn fat. Lose the weight. Stop being a fat, greasy pig.
But when you say that, then then what about all the the women who are fat? But
No, it's time to have a fight with black women over fat. In fact, it's sisters' fault that we're as fat as we are. They don't like cooking. They don't like nutritious food. They don't know anything about that. You got so liberated that you don't have to do anything that your mom or your grandmother did. And so y'all are the folks who bring the bad food in the household. That used to be a line of defense for the protection of the family is what they ate. That's another thing that black women have messed up on. I talk about folks, oh, well, man, let's just get a bucket of chicken. They never want to do anything, that women do. Women cook. Food preparation is part of womanhood. Fuck all you feminists that don't agree. Y'all the biggest problem. They're some of the ugliest, most unhealthy, vicious people in our community. There's not enough strokes, heart attacks, diabetic shocks to go out to get rid of y'all. You're in the way. We need to eat healthy.
Yes, sir.
Housework. Instead of thinking that it's someone else's duty, that's good. Push that down, back your clean. Burn up some calories cleaning your own damn house. There's been a whole thing. I'm just saying, it's time to just come at me, beat down these dumbass, hard-headed insurrectionist sisters. There was a role for women. Y'all don't want to do anything that you're supposed to do. Wonder why things are messed up. That's like a fireman thinking he should put out fires to wonder why everything's on fire. Well, the fire, someone should stop. Well, you got the fucking uniform on. Your uniform is your XX DNA. There's some things that you expect of women.
Right.
Because womanhood has just gone down the toilet. Then they get mad. Don't want to do stuff that women do. Then when the trans is trying to do the shit you do, you don't want them to do it either. I mean, you got the assholes. There's really dumbass asshole women out here. You don't want men to be men. You don't want to be a woman, and don't want men to be women.
That's fucked up.
You see pregnancy as a cause for an abortion, yet you may want a child. Oh, why don't you adopt one of those kids? They got such nice hair.
Oh, God.
And this is really, it's not all, but there's some dumb asshole female coons out there that get a pass because black men are chumps. They're weak. My manhood is based on, the quotient of nuts I bust to different women. And so I can never tell a black woman the truth because I will get to school her and then I lose points.